program. But just then, I also have here with me Obase Oyi Thompson. Of course, if you can actually see well fully dressed, and I believe sometimes ago you said that you were actually open to be in a leadership position in soonest. And looking at your outfit, I can tell that you're already making plans. You're already making plans.
Well, come
and it's a good one.
2031, I think I will
No,
be going for
2027.
2027.
2027. That's next year.
It's too urgent because I actually went to renew my voter's card and I was told they have relocated the office to a different place. I was asking, so why didn't we get the information? So that becomes a very huge problem. This is why lots of persons, even they just concluded Abuja election.
Yes.
Lots of persons complained that their polling unit were changed on the day of election. And that was what happened even in
surprisingly, I was really surprised to hear a lot of this. How will voters polling unit be changed and there was no
on the day of election, and there was no means of communication to the voters and all of that.
If I was actually to be a person that I went to vote, and I know this is the place I've actually been voting, and I went there to vote, and you come out and tell me that I cannot vote simply because there have been a change, I wouldn't take it lightly, especially if I came from a very long distance.
I think in the country like ours, particularly, you won't be able to go to court. And once the politician tells you go to court, it means the entire process has been compromised. So there is no need for you to go to court. So in a sane society, these are things that people will come, put up signatories and sue INEC. And, this particular election wouldn't have actually, taken place because it was already marred with a lot of irregularities and all of that. So I think particularly this is why lots of persons are so concerned of what we should be expecting come 2027. Just like the INEC chairman have come out already to say, look, he is just thinking how Nigerians are going to cope with the forthcoming election. And trust me, it's really going to be terrible.
When we're talking about being terrible, like, what do you mean?
I really think
are we expecting to see a situation whereby the beavers will not work, whereby
all of those things will not work? It won't work. It won't work. In fact,
I'm actually surprised that you're saying
what has happened in Abuja so far is just a kind of a tip of an iceberg of what is going to happen. Okay, so Nigerians should just expect what is going to happen come 2027 because it's really going to be very terrible.
If you joining us, actually you are up to that very program, the State of the Nation, where we are diving down to the affairs of our nation here in Nigeria. And like I said, my name is Okon Ofion, the Catalyst, and of course having here with me is Obase Oyi Thompson. Together we will be discussing and of course dissecting the interesting headlines that we have on our table this beautiful afternoon. And just like we thought about the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, we've actually seen the INEC chairman coming out to say that we cannot achieve 100% real-time transmission of result.
If the INEC chairman starts now to make such...
if you ask me, I'll think that is actually transparency. I'll take that to be a transparency. Yes.
I have thought of that. Yes. I have thought of that to an extent, but conclusively, I have come to realize that we shouldn't expect anything good. In fact, for him to start now to say we cannot, you still have enough time. You still have enough time to prepare. 8 months with billions of naira.
I wouldn't want to say that you are sounding like a pessimist right now. I think we should actually be optimistic, of course, for a better system in Nigeria.
It should be the resident commissioners who should make this kind of comments, and not the INEC chairman himself.
You know why I think this
in a sense society it should be sacked.
This is actually no. This is actually, to me, I think this to be a transparency statement, and in fact it showcases a transparency because if you are coming to tell Nigerians already before now, Nigerians are expecting nothing but the best election.
Okay.
Yeah. And he had assured Nigerians that
because
he's going
so
to
much
give
money,
he's going
so
to
much
give
funds, so much budget.
He has assured Nigerians that he's going to give nothing
but
the best election come 2027.
Yeah, but what we saw in Abuja, it's not assuring Nigerians that we're actually going to expect that.
Don't forget that what the Senate actually, the deliberations from the Senate about the manual transmission of results, before it was actually signed to bill, it was not in line with what the citizens wanted. It wasn't in line with what the masses wanted. And coming out to say that we cannot achieve 100% real-time transmission of results is actually in line with what the Senate had already, passed to bill, or signed to bill rather. The Senate had said already, and I quote, of course, the Senate President and certain other senators had already made a statement that there is no possible way that we can actually have real time transmission of results. Reasons being that there are lots of villages, there are lots of places, there are lots of polling units that we do not have access to networks.
Okay.
And not
So
just like
do
some
we
persons.
have POS operators in those communities? And the answer is yes. We have them.
When you talk about POS operators,
Yes.
and I think we because
Between
because
POS operators
no,
and
because,
the voting
because,
machine, which
because,
of them are we supposed to be scared
because
of?
POS operators they are so they are so many. We think that
So
that
what is stopping INEF
I think
from subscribing to that? That's why we had the beavers. Don't
I
forget,
think
the beavers machine also operate just like we have the POS system.
Exactly.
So why are we not having them in communities?
Now the question is, these POS machines that we are talking about,
Okay.
do we have POS machines in interior villages?
Yes, of course.
How many villages have you visited, Thompson?
No. Okay, let's not go too far.
Let's be realistic. Let's be
Okay,
realistic right
fine,
now. Let's be realistic.
Yeah.
I've actually, let me talk about myself. I've actually not visited all the villages in Nigeria that we have.
Nigeria, okay.
Now, and I cannot also for sure say that all the villages have POS machine or not.
Okay.
But for the few that I have been able to visit,
Okay.
I can tell you for sure that it is not all villages that that you can access POS.
Okay.
So if the little thing is like POS, you cannot access them.
No. Hold on. That's not true. That's not true.
No. I'm telling you from I'm telling you from my perspective,
Hold on.
and I'm not actually asking you. I'm telling you based on my
Now
experience.
let's be very logical about this.
Okay.
Okay. Or in fact, let's be very real about this. Now there is no street in Calabar. Let's take Calabar for instance. I'm coming. I'm not talking about the POS.
Okay.
There's no street in Calabar that NEPA agents don't go. In fact, no compound in Calabar that NEPA agents don't go to take NEPA bills, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there is no street
To
in
confirm
Calabar
payments of bills.
to confirm payments
Yes.
of bills. So in Calabar, there is no place no street that you enter that you not see a POS operator, right? So why is it that during elections they ask an entire street to go and gather in a particular place?
Okay.
Do you understand? So
okay.
why can't we just have the beavers that is supposed to serve as their particular purpose? Okay, let's talk about NIN registration. NIN registration, there are a lot of centers where NIN registration is being done, right? So why can't we have them as much as we have?
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So this is what we are talking about.
No,
it is because of lack of transparency. Let's get to that fact. Because
in as much
I'm
as
coming. We will have a lot of funds being released for this particular purpose. Don't forget, a sitting senator currently have come to allege that close to 1 trillion naira. And trillion naira, you know what that means? Billions. You're counting billions and getting to trillions. And yet you can't tell Nigerians that, look, we are sure of allowing you stay at the comfort of your home to vote. Why then do we
Now,
sit anywhere to do carry out our transactions?
starting from the statement why we cannot why we have to witness Nigerians or citizens going to a particular polling unit to before they can vote. I think it is actually it's moral and it's actually good. It's the best for me if you ask me. Now, reasons being that in a particular street, let me use your instances. In a particular street, you cannot ascertain the numbers of persons staying in that street. And even if you want to say that in a particular street, you have a polling unit in a particular street, you still need to come out from your house and go down to that very spot to vote.
Okay.
So now, to make it easy and to make it more like to make it more like a balanced one, not like the polling unit is far from where you are. Before you go to register for voters card,
you see,
I'm coming. Before you go to register for voters card, you indicate where you're staying.
Okay.
You also be the one to indicate where you want to vote.
Okay.
Now, for example, I've actually seen scenarios whereby someone is reside here in Calabar.
Okay.
But when he or she is registering for his or her PVC, he or she will make it clear that he or she wants to go back to his village to vote.
Okay.
He wants to return back to his place. Now, at that situation, are you going to blame the INEC or your INEC for that? No. the person has this or a preference. And going back to your place to vote simply means that you want to align, you want to be the one in making the choice of who represents you back to your grassroots. Okay. So at that very point, you cannot say, okay, this person is staying in Calabar and is going, is traveling to Buki or is traveling to Akpabio, as the case may be, to go and vote. It is a person preference. So this is not actually a problem to me, if you ask me.
Okay.
And also talking about why we cannot be assured of a better election. I think it's still too early. It's still too early to come to a conclusion, or it's still too early to come into agreement that we are not going to have a good election. We owe the INEC chairman to his words. He has promised Nigerian, one of the best elections. He might not be the first person that is making this promise, but we can also not, debunk the fact that he has made these promises, and we as Nigerians also, we are looking up to him with this statement, hoping that it's actually going to be the best.
Okay. But then
as a people, we are more like brethren that go to church.
Okay.
And we keep on hearing Jesus Christ is going to come again.
Okay.
But we don't see him.
Okay.
So let's not even compare. I'm not trying to compare.
Okay.
Now what I'm trying to say is that we keep on getting promises and we are expecting that it's definitely going to be okay.
Yeah, so let's get this right. Okay. It is possible that we can have this done in Nigeria. That is fact.
Everything is possible.
That is fact.
Sure.
And it's also possible for us to have a credible and free and fair elections. That is sure. It is also possible for us to have a real-time transmissions of results.
Exactly.
So I think all we just need is to have leadership that is transparent. Okay, leadership that is genuine and real.
So,
but here again, we're having a cross of leaders.
Let me pause you there.
Okay.
Now, how do you examine, leaders that are transparent when you've actually not seen them on the field?
No. It's just a simple thing.
I'm asking that question because you are already judging the INEC chairman when he has not conducted, a major election first.
No.
You are already judging him.
Let's not wait until major election.
We need to wait. That's what I'm asking you. How do you examine transparency?
Listen, we've been talking about a drop of water causes what? A mighty ocean,
yes.
Right? That's an adage they say.
An adage that we have not experienced.
We have experienced it. We have experienced it. Yeah, I don't know. If you keep your container outside before daybreak, you could see that either the dews will give you
might never have an ocean.
I don't know. It's just a temporary days. Okay, but there again. Okay, so from what we saw in Abuja, it is very, very true that we might not expect anything good at come 2027 general elections, because one, we've expected that that election was going to be something to give Nigerians assurance that look, come 2027 we're going to do the best.
Okay.
But here we see that continuation of mutilating results. Okay, from polling unit and all of that. We saw some ones that at the polling unit that was signed. At the polling unit that was signed, we saw one, and then all of a sudden during announcement it was changed to 17. It was changed to 170 something.
I think
it's not okay.
To an extent we cannot base or rely on social.
No. That is where it starts.
No. We cannot rely on social media to an extent, to get facts or to just have a conclusion about a particular event. For me, the election in Abuja was not really something to call out for, because to an extent we cannot point out to any event that showed that this election was not fair.
Now, if we go by that, that is the reason why most of us have started having these double feelings that come 2027 there is no need for anyone to go for it.
I think we as Nigerians, we're actually the ones creating the double feelings for ourselves.
No, because of the perceptions that those in leadership position have created.
When you just sit down and assume that a particular election was not free and fair, you've already given your perception that you don't need to go out to vote.
Because first of all, that's the same thing that happened. We have people who went, we have media houses who went around the streets carrying out live coverage.
Okay,
And then
okay.
you go to some
What?
polling units.
Okay.
As at that time, materials have not arrived. As at that time, this is Abuja. We
From-
are not saying local communities or local villages where you say, oh, you get to Calabar before you get to Calabar and then get to Obanliku, Bekwara inside. Oh, you're going to spend so much hours and all of that. And we keep asking, so why not have drones? Why not have all of those mechanisms, to pick election materials to those places? But that's why I was asking, do we have NEPA people going all deep down and all of that? You said yes. Do we have POS operators in most of these communities? Yes. So we have beavers. So why can't beavers arrive those communities and get prepared and all of that? Don't forget, even in Abuja, we had a lot of media reports that a lot of polling unit machines were changed to a different polling unit, and so because of that, a lot of delays and all of that, and materials didn't arrive on time. Look, this from there we can now start judging that if in Abuja this is happening, I wonder what's going to happen in places like River State where we have and then you have place like Kogi State, and we have place like Kaduna and all of those kind of places.
I think those places you mentioned are where you have interest, I guess.
Well, if there is any place I have interest, it shouldn't be Kogi.
Okay,
because we already have somebody in Kogi that is a rector in Cross River State.
Okay, so I think right now, it's actually interesting that we have Nigerians, of course, who actually looked at little things and they begin to question the system. This is actually what we really want. Of course, when you are able to criticize and of course draw critics when needed, you make your leaders to wake up and of course know for sure that if anything has been done, these persons are definitely going to criticize and are going to ask questions. And this is why we are here. So now away from INEC and of course the old shenanigans of course within INEC, let's move down to Abuja, the FCT.
But before you do that, I think to our listeners out there, don't forget that there's still room for fresh registrations of voters' cards. Go get your voters' card because definitely you still have the right to vote and be voted for. So when it's time for everyone to go do that,
they've never been a time where citizens do not have right. It's always been our right to exercise our franchise. So just like Thompson said, of course it's very pertinent and necessary out there that you get your voters' card ahead of 2027 general elections. And moving down to the FCT, that's the Federal Capital Territory, we've actually seen the FCT minister and of course the former governor of Rivers State in person of His Excellency Nyesom Wike, who have come out to make it clear that he is going to work for candidates who support the current president, that's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is going to stand with any candidate that supports Tinubu, and he has also sent a message saying that the People's Democratic Party have not learned a lesson. They have not learned a lesson, and it raises questions because we've been asking questions. Nyesom Wike, we know him to be a member of the People's Democratic Party, but that is actually on paper, but practically he has showed workings that I am actually supporting this very government, that is the All Progressive Congress, and never has it been a time that we get the People's Democratic Party, his faction, to say I've called him and say, hey, look, we are not really feeling comfortable again with the way the old situations are going on. And he can still wake up tomorrow and tell you boldly that he's still a card carrying member of the People's Democratic
but the party has expelled him. Many other persons
at some point we cannot.
This is why we are saying that in Nigeria today we are having individuals bigger and stronger than institutions. That have been put in place.
You actually made a statement,
and so because of that, a lot of persons feel they are gods. A lot of persons feel like they are above the law. A lot of persons feel like they can do things and get away with it because they have privileges that other common Nigerians don't.
So when you say the People's Democratic Party,
I am very sure that there is nothing that lasts forever. Okay, so whatever position anybody is handling, you can't be there forever. You'll be there today, tomorrow it's someone else, Don't forget, you came and met somebody there. You can't be the first and you can never be the last. So, unless those who are going to Monday when probably the second coming of the Savior Jesus Christ, but until then, in as much as you're still alive, I think you're going to check it up. So right away here, I think what is happening in Abuja, it's really terrible because one, I think the former governor, of course, the minister of FCT would
Yes,
have
I'm
to
okay.
understand that. Look, you have to trade with caution. You have to trade with caution because one, there are some certain things you don't feel like it must be the way you want it to be. Coming out to say everybody must support the president, it's something willingly, okay? Because if you get to do what is right, trust me, people will willingly support you. But if you don't do what is right, if the president has come on board after all the protests he has done over the past years in Jonathan's administration, who promised to say, hey, I am coming on board, I'm going to give Nigerians 24-hour power supply, I'm going to equal naira to a dollar, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If he has done this, Nigerians will willingly stand by him. You don't need to coerce people to come and stand by Mr. President. Okay, so Nigerians would just willingly do that. All these issues of opposition, trust me, would have been a thing of the past. You wouldn't have to force people to, support the president. But don't forget that there must always be opposition in all things. So Mr. President still have enough time in a couple of months to come. Mr. President can say, look, I just want to change the system. I just want to change the status quo. How many persons have reportedly gone to prison in his tenure? None. How many persons have been arrested or detained? Nothing. Look at insecurity in the country. It's becoming very alarming each and every day. So I think it's quite important for our leaders to understand that, look, let's get to do the right thing. Look at what is happening between US and Israel. I know we'll get to that, but there again we're looking at leaders who say, I want to get this done. Like I keep saying, we don't want situations where you say, oh, we will. No, you are now in power. Get things done. Just come out to say, I have done this. Nigerians, you don't need to force anybody to, to believe that you've done this. We'll need to see it. We get to see the realities on ground. So when you say, oh, I have done this and Nigerians are very happy with it, they stand by you. I trust Nigerians so much when it has to do with, look, you have done something that is good. Nigerians will definitely be with you. But if you do anything that is wrong, I trust Nigerians, they will definitely tell you, you have not done this thing very well. So Mr. Minister who have come out to say a particular senator will not return back because that senator did not support or is not supporting the president, it's something I feel, I don't know. He has said it today during his live media chat. Agreement is an agreement. So it is an agreement between Nigerians and the constitution that, look, we have to do what is right. Okay, so the senator is his right to contest. If he fails, fine. If he doesn't, but you don't make it look as if the person, like what he has said it point blank that the person can never come back. So it means it's a do or die affair. Politics shouldn't be that way. Governance shouldn't be like, leadership shouldn't be that way. It should be a collective thing. So I don't know. It's only in Nigeria and Africa that I'm seeing how leaders fight against each other simply because this person is performing, this person is not performing, and both of you become issues, rather than coming together, not as if we are having foreigners leading us. We are all Nigerians. So I think one important thing is we need to strike a balance between when it's time for politics and when it's time for governance. This time is for governance. When it's time for politics, INEC will tell Nigerians politicians that, look, it is time for you to go out there and do your campaigns. And then inflammatory statements of this nature can cause things otherwise, knowing that this is the nation's capital. And as such, there are so many things you feel like, oh, you are right to say, you are right to do, which is not right and which is not it. So please, I think it's quite important for Nigerians to also speak up and also believe that, look, the minister of FCT is not the president of Nigeria. And as such, he has limitations to how he exercises his power and stretch his authority that he feels he has.
I was actually expecting that you were going to come from the aspect of also recognizing the fact that Nyesom Wike is a Nigerian. and as a citizen of Nigeria, he
but so do also the senator.
he equally have the same rights like every other normal Nigerian has. You have the right to vote, and you also have the right to be voted for.
Yeah, you just
And
like
you
today
also-
during the media
you-
chat, they ask him why was he moving around during election day? That he is not from there and he is not he is not a voter. Why was he loitering around? And so he said that he only went to 11 polling units out of 3,000 polling units. So why are people complaining? And so they say, but he wasn't right. He said it is the media men they or actually made him to understand that the past administrators in the FCT never did that. They said, well, they had the opportunity, but they didn't want to exercise it. But for him, he wants to exercise it. And, and so they were saying, but you are not the president. When it has to do with what you're saying, he say, well, he wants to exercise his power, and that is the power that Nigerians have given to him.
Okay. Before actually get to that, and yes, Wike is a Nigerian, and he equally has the same rights like every Nigerian out there are.
Of course.
As a Nigerian, he actually has the right to exercise his franchise and also the right to be voted for if he chooses to, to run for any elective position.
Exactly.
And the statement that he will support whoever supports the incumbent president. For me, I think it's actually a speech which is being made on the grounds that he has the right, of course, to his own personal opinion.
Yeah.
Now that I make a statement that I'm going to support whoever supports the president, it's not a compulsory or a mandatory statement that, hey, look, you need to support the president. I'm telling you out of my own personal opinion that if you do this, then definitely you have my support. It's not a do or die. It's not a force. And come on, Wike actually saying that he's going to support me. It doesn't mean that it's going to his support is actually going to make me win. It might support you and you still go out there to lose. So it's actually a personal opinion out there. Then moving back to it's a supervision of different polling units during the Abuja council election.
Okay.
I don't know. I think correct me if I'm actually wrong. I think in as much as the constitution have not recognized the FCT as a state, rather it's just a federal capital territory, and of course we have a minister who serve as the head of the FCT.
Okay.
I think if I am actually right, he happens to be the chief security the chief security officer of the FCT.
Okay.
And because by that privilege because of that privilege, he is guaranteed to go around and make sure that he checkmate and see what is actually going on, because at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, it is not the INEC that will be called on. It is the FCT minister that will be called on. Look, you were not able to conduct a free and a fair election. If anything happens, it's still him that that will be called on upon. It's not a matter of whether you are from there or you're not from there. We've actually asked scenarios by former FCT minister. They have never been from there. We had a El-Rufai. He was never from there. He's from Kaduna State. We've had others, several persons who have been ministers. We don't necessarily need to be from there before. As long as you have been given that platform to be as the FCT minister, then you are the chief executive officer, and every event that happens there concerns you, and you actually have the right to make sure that you supervise it, you supervise those events and make sure that it comes out well. Because just like I said, that at the end of the day, if anything happens, you still the one that will be called on, whether whether you were interested or you were not interested. They believe that you are the one in charge. So you must definitely answer the call.
No, it's just like saying, let's take for instance, in the local government council elections, okay, or the state election, like election is happening in Cross River State, and you say, let's say Prince O2.
That's the governor.
Yeah, the governor will have to move around because it is. So
if he chooses to.
No, now we are asking, is it constitutionally right? It's not.
No, okay.
No, it's not. Do you understand?
Now,
it's not. That's why you're having party agents.
No,
that's why you're having. Yes, that's why you're having party agents. Do you understand? Those persons are in for you, but for you to move around, it's not, because it seems as if you're influencing, and of course. The governor can't go to, except your polling unit. After your polling unit, you're supposed to return back to your apartment or return back to your home.
Okay, so
you do not need to move around.
So what you mean that is that if the governor, eventually, walks around different polling units,
you are influencing the election. Yeah, of course, you are, because your presence first of all.
Influencing who is it the electorate or the INEC or officials?
Both parties. You're going to influence them.
Thompson. Let me. If you're actually saying that, then it simply means that you do not have you cannot make a decision for yourself. Now let me ask you just say a simple question.
Okay.
Now if it happens that tomorrow is an election, or let's say that we are in an election period right now,
exactly.
And this is your polling unit, and you have to vote here, and while still waiting for your turn to to go there and cast your vote, you have the governor walk in here. Are you trying to say that because of the governor here, you will change your mind of not voting who you were supposed to vote for? You definitely want to vote for who might actually be the interest of the governor.
That's a different ball game altogether.
You talk about influence.
Hold on. Yes, when we talk about influencing, could be that okay, fine. We've seen the governor here, and Nigerian kind of politics where we have buying and selling of votes and all of that. And coupled with the fact that, this is the governor, this is the person, contesting, elections and all of that, could have that ample opportunity to influence the elections, okay? Now, it could be his kind of personality, he could be his entourage, it could be, anything around. Could be as a tool of influence. This is the reason why constitutionally,
I think you talked about
Mr. Offion, constitutionally, this is not acceptable.
I think you were talking about the constitution now, but we also fail to understand that even during election, we have protocols that that guide an election. We understand that during election, when it comes to during election, nobody is allowed to campaign at the respective polling units.
So this is why nobody is not also allowed for them to move around polling units.
No. When you say you are not allowed to move around the polling unit, it's more like you are taking their you are taking away their rights from them. At the end of the day, take away the offices which you are holding.
Mr.
Let's go back to they still remain a common Nigerians that they are. So are you trying? Does the governor not go to his polling unit to vote?
Let's get this right.
Does the governor not go to his polling unit to vote?
Let's get this right. When it is time for, let's say, governorship election. Okay. You see a situation where the governor goes to his polling unit, right, to go and cast his vote. And after that, he returns back. He has a press briefing and then return back, right? So you are not supposed to start moving around polling units.
And if you choose... Hold on.
Before now, don't forget, constitutionally, I think you have about 3 or 6 months interval to do what? To leave office before you contest for any election. But in Nigeria, it's not happening. So that becomes a huge problem on its own. First of all, you're supposed to do what? Step away from your position as the governor, as the president, in elective position before you can contest. But here in Nigeria, you see them sitting and still sitting until the last day of the election, and even until it's announced, and even until you're being sworn in again, you're still sitting as the sitting leader, governor, or president. It is not supposed to be so. It is not supposed to be like that. But that is the kind of practice we're having here in this part of the world. So when the journalists were asking him, because it is wrong, it is not constitutional, you start moving around that's why we are having the security agencies. There's supposed to be restrictions of movement, except for those who have passed to do that. Do you understand? So, and trust me, when he is moving around, you're not moving around as the governor. Do you understand? And then when I talk about the influences, you can't see the governor coming to your polling unit and you as the agent, you as the other agents, and you not be influenced either to misbehave or, take sides and all of that. So this is the reason why. Are you trying to tell me that during the presidential election, you see Tinubu moving around to state?
Okay.
You don't do that.
I think, yes. He can't do that. Not like if he wants to do so, he cannot do it. But
not if you want to do so.
Not like if he wants to do so.
Constitutional.
Now, let's revisit back protocols. We've actually overlooked a lot of things, and I heard you mention about the governor going to probably its polling unit after casting of votes. He does a press briefing, and he goes. And now and I was actually curious now. What's the need of the press briefing? Why are you doing a press briefing when it's not about governance? It's election time. You're supposed to finish voting and go back home.
This is why we are saying 3 to 6 months before election, if you are a sitting governor, a sitting president, you're supposed to step down. But none of them is doing this. Ordinarily, you're not supposed to be in power and still be contesting. So it doesn't even make sense at all. That's why the constitution was stipulated
Now,
that this happens. You have to step
and
down.
also in talking about protocols, why I said, we've actually overlooked a lot of things that to an extent we don't even want to get down, get down to that extent. By nature, should I say, by extent of, making sure that we protect democracy. As a citizen, as a person who's actually going out there to cast your vote, in the first place, you're actually not supposed to even go with your phone, because if you go to your phone to a polling unit to cast your vote, it's already a threat to democracy. You're not supposed to go with your phone, because it could be that in the course of voting you might actually have a call that might come in to convince you don't do this. So you're not even supposed to go with your phone. But these days, do we have persons going to their respective polling units? You will even see someone going to polling unit without a phone. Definitely they go. Some persons will go, the ones that can take pictures, the one that can do video, they will definitely do it. Now, have we really thought about this? These are protocols, of course, which have been breached, and the INEC also have actually not come out to say, hey, look, these things are actually not right, and maybe possibly start making some sanctions. And because if we do so, also the same press briefing you're actually talking about, that the governor go to a polling unit and vote and do a press briefing, will not even take place in the first place, because most of the press briefing, at the end of the day, you have videos, cameras out there, which is actually not supposed to be allowed, but it is being done. So at the end of the day, if you are talking about a governor influencing and not supposed to be walking around because he wants to influence, then that is to say now that he's not even supposed to even be in his polling unit. Maybe he's even supposed to be at home and cast his vote. But because there is no platform for that, or the system does not permit that. That is why he has to go to your polling unit. You have to cast your vote. It's unless you're going to say that after voting in a particular place, voting you don't have the right to visit other polling unit. That would have said, okay, is it that me also finishing from my particular polling unit and this I decide to take a walk down to other polling unit also, it's actually a threat. It's actually a threat. But I know the answer that might definitely be coming, that I'm not a governor, or
No. But it is wrong. Individually you work when you are not constitutionally given the right to do that. First of all, when elections come, there are a lot of persons. That's why you don't see a lot of vehicles movement. But specific vehicles that are movements, you see them having what press.
Yes.
Yeah, they tell you on duty. Yeah, you have that sticker being mounted on your car. And even the medias, you don't just move around just simply because you're a media. You must have a pass. And the question is, why do we have this? Just so that they'll be able to know who is who on the election day. First of all, I think let's just agree that that was wrong. And that was the reason why this question was posed to Mr. Wike today during his media briefing today, live in Abuja. And so they said this was not right. And so he tried to justify why he did what he did. And so he gave his own personal reasons. So I think when individuals are stronger than institutions, it becomes a huge problem. So this is why I am so concerned about the 2027 general elections. Trust me, it's really not going to be business as usual, because when we have stronger individuals of these natures making those kind of comments. He has talked about Wike, Amechi, he has talked about Peter Obi, he has talked about Atiku, he has talked about Erufa, he has talked about a lot of persons, even calling as many as he can, boys and kids and all of that. So I think it's just sad that we find ourselves in this kind of system of leadership in Nigeria. But there again, I just hope that people will stay alive even after 2027.
All right, so it's already 15 minutes gone past the hour of 2 o'clock, and you're still listening to the State of the Nation on Unical Radio 103.5, and away from elections, palaver and all that. Over down today to Akwa Ibom State, we've actually witnessed the first lady of Nigeria, Olulemi Tinubu, who on Saturday will actually be inaugurating the the geriatric center in Akwa Ibom State, which is known as Elderly Citizen Center. And this initiative, it's centered on providing health care for the elderly persons.
Okay.
Elderly persons, particularly in Akwa Ibom State. And I think some few weeks ago we had the governor of Abia State, in person of Dr. Alex Oti, who also initiated something more of this nature. That's the senior citizen
Yeah,
bill,
and
which
I think that of his own, they are paying
yes,
the elderly
yes, they
of
pay
a
elderly
particular
persons
age up.
and
Yeah,
they
so I
provide
think
pre.
that's a good one.
Okay,
That's a
so
good one.
so
We hope
we've
to also witness that.
yeah
Yeah.
we've actually have Akwa Ibom State, of course, who have actually emulated same. However, theirs is actually specifically down to provision of healthcare for the elderly persons, and I think this is actually this is a good one. This
Yeah,
is a good one. In as much as we
just like you we say and we maintain, Nigerians, when we see what is good, we say this is good. When we see what is wrong, we say this is wrong. So this is a good development to see those at that particular age upward, receiving free stipends, monthly stipends, and as well as free medical services, health services, and all of that each month. And it's a welcome
least-
development.
at
At
least
least it will help to
it-
ease.
yes, and it also gives you hope that probably when you get old, you have the government taking care of you.
Well, we do not know. I personally do not know if it will also involve that when you die, the government will take care of your corpse, and then because I'm seeing a lot of places, a lot of facilities, healthcare facilities that they do not have a good mortuaries. Don't forget that the governor of Akwa Ibom State asked contractors to build hospital, and then they started with mortuary.
Yeah.
And then so I don't know if this is why people should be asking, is this why he's caring for those who are old enough? So that when they die, they'll send them to the new mortuary. And he was shouting.
No, as funny as that be, but it's not his fault. He got back to to shout at the contractors.
Yes.
Why would you be
Why
starting
would you
mortuary?
I said, build a
I asked
hospital.
him to be I started
mortuary.
I don't know. I think it's actually a very funny situation, but at some
Yes.
point you need to call the contractor. And, you need to ask them, they might be seeing what other people are not seeing. You might need to ask them, why are you starting with mortuary?
No, sure. I'm sure that they will have to do that. But it's a welcome development, and we hope to see that really happening. But there again, there's this convoy we saw of the wife of the president of Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah, trending on social media. And then allegedly over 1,000, vehicles moving, convoy with motorcades and all of that. Look, I think we are just making money and wasting monies because it is not important. It is not necessary. All of those monies that are taken care of, we're supposed to use it to, build schools and then, develop young people, develop young children, and develop the country. Our economy is already at the verge of blinking, but yet we keep having the president saying our economy is okay, but yet it's not affecting positively in the lives of Nigerians, and as such, I think all of this is just waste of resources and all of that.
Obviously, Thompson, I wouldn't want to delve into this discussion right now because for the wife of the president, that's the wife of the number one citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, having that much escort, as much as we try to criticize, also we must also understand that security of these persons of this high profile, also it has sacrosanct for our national interest.
Okay, let's leave it at that because I really have not seen the need for such amounts of escort to follow.
Possibly, you might not see the need.
No.
You might see the need when you get to that position.
This is just a sign to tell the world that Nigeria is not safe. It's as simple as that. Because if Nigeria is safe,
do we have a safe place in this world?
Yes, please. This is why lots of
no. If you say we have a safe place, like I'm so much interested.
We have a safe place.
Where
please,
is that?
for crying out loud.
Where is that?
Don't go too far. Just go to Ghana here, please. We are not seeing the killings that we are seeing in Nigeria. We are not saying go too far.
I think Thompson.
Nigeria is not in war with another country.
I wouldn't want to accept your position on this.
Okay.
Reasons being that you are not in Ghana. You are
Please.
you are not in you are
Please.
not in Ghana.
Even if
you are
even
only
if you're not in Ghana.
you are only living based on what you see and what you hear, or possibly with what you see on the
Okay,
media
so
space.
so far so good. So far
You
so
are not
good.
there.
What have you heard about? I'm not talking about
Okay.
a far country. I'm not even taking you to the Western nations. I'm just within African countries. Okay, so what have you heard about Ghana in recent times?
What have I heard about Ghana?
Yes, in terms of killing. Don't forget, just yesterday, a major general again was killed by terrorists. In the world, which country in the world can you mention, can you pinpoint and say this country, they have a major general who was killed by terrorists? And the president of that country never care. The chief of army staff, the chief of defense, the National Intelligence Agency, none of them have come out to say anything. I'm talking about a major general. I'm not talking about these guys who are just picking forms to join the military. I'm not talking about those ones. So those ones, even if it's 1 million that lost their lives in this part of the world, they don't care. I'm talking about a major general, for crying out loud. And nothing has happened. We're not talking of recent year. We have the other general who actually, after escaping, and called his own people to come rescue him. But before his people arrived, the terrorists got to where he was hidden. And so the question was, how did they get to where he was? So this is just, sad things. I'm not talking about the Western nation where today, as we speak, we've talked about the issues of US, Israel, Iran, and the rest of it. When Iran are out there, we're having Nigerians who have refused to go to the street to protest the killings of people in Sokoto State. Today, we have those in Sokoto protesting because somebody in Iran was killed.
Thompson, I think that every there's a saying in my
every disappointment brings blessing.
No, I'm not talking about that. There's an adage that it says in my place, but I wouldn't want to use my dialect because
it will sound so funny.
Most persons will not understand.
Okay.
But I feel that everybody have their own issues, everybody have their own problems, and the same way we are criticizing Nigeria.
I am not criticizing Nigeria.
To the best of my knowledge,
but I am criticizing the fact that this administration over time has been the one who went to the forefront and demanded that the days of Jonathan be shortened simply because of insecurity.
Not just this administration. If you want to, I think we should talk about generally, because if we're focusing on this administration, you're trying to tell us that lots of the irregularities, or most of the
we are chastising them because we love them and because we want them to bring the changes.
Before.
Yeah.
You mentioned about Ghana. Like I said earlier, and I still want to maintain that position, but you actually dragged my leg down to Ghana. So this is me already traveling to Ghana without a visa, and of course without a pass. I'm still here in Unical Radio, but I'm already in Ghana. And I also like to let you know that there are a lot of things already going in Ghana that you might not really be interested because you are not there. And I think of recent we actually had a record that they have increased their sales of gas and oil to I think about 10.46 Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Now we are not interested in that because we are not Ghanaians.
The question would be what kind of leadership, what kind of